care how many ayahuasca ceremonies you've done. I don't care how many times you've staged your apartment. I don't care how many spiritual retreats you've been on. I don't care how many breathwork ceremonies that you've been to. If you are still subscribing to this new age, love and light only, positive vibes only version of spirituality, I'm not interested. Spirituality has become so performative rather than being about empowerment. It's all about aesthetics, about how you look, what you say, whether you're following the latest trends. What I've found is, and this is coming from somebody who went deep into New Age spirituality themselves a few years ago, is most people get into spirituality to escape the matrix. And in my eyes, it's just another version of the matrix. There's just another set of rules. There's another set of gurus. There's another set of certain things that you have to adhere to. Otherwise, you're not classed as spiritual enough. Spirituality in its purest form is about love and connection and about removing judgment from situations. When I found that New Age spirituality is one of the most judgmental scenes that there is. People say, come as yourself, you're welcome as you are. But is that true? Because what I found personally myself is only welcome if you're more into this love and light space. What I found with the New Age spirituality scene is either people say you're welcome as you are, but then you enter the space and actually you're only welcome if you're love and light and high vibes only. Or people go to the other extreme and they just use it as a reason to unconsciously hold on to all of their trauma and all of their past woundings and just kind of replay them over and over again. And like I said, I have so much compassion for this because I feel like I was in my own shit for so many years. But like there has to be an end point because all it does is keep you trapped in the same cycles. Most people find spirituality in a moment of vulnerability. So going through a breakup, having some sort of awakening. There was a huge boom in 2020 because of COVID and a huge collective shift. And so when people are going through things, they turn to spirituality as a means of faith. And it saved my life and I'm so grateful for it. But if you're just carrying on the same toxic and unhealthy patterns that were playing out before and you're just transferring them over to spirituality, is that empowering? So a really key example of this for me is somebody who doesn't take responsibility or accountability for their actions and is constantly stuck in victim blaming. How that transfers into New Age spirituality is people will just deflect everything as, but we're all mirrors of each other. You know, a classic one is if you see it in me, then you see it in yourself. And all of this is so nuanced. I do want to say this because I do believe that sometimes people trigger us to show us things about ourselves. But if you're using that as a deflection to not take responsibility or accountability for harmful, dangerous, unhealthy behaviors, that's not okay. If you hurt somebody, if you abuse somebody, if you manipulate somebody and the person confronts you and you say everything is a mirror, that's not spiritual to me. That is narcissism. If you are somebody who used to have addictive behaviors, maybe you're addicted to sex or alcohol or partying or any of those things, and then you move to spirituality and you just take plant medicine all the time, is that actually changing the behavior or is it just swapping one crux for another? If you've had a really troubled past and you've been through a lot and you've done therapy and stuff and it hasn't worked for you, so you move to spirituality, but then you're constantly assessing your shadows and doing the healing work and you're on this path for years and years and you're trying to get to the root cause and you're trying to heal and you're trying to fix yourself, it's like that is not the purpose of life. And I don't believe it's the purpose of spirituality. I believe spirituality at its core is a relationship with God, a relationship with self, a relationship with everything around us. It's being present. It's having an open heart, which leads me on to the next point. Having an open heart does not mean that you have to be love and light all the time. I feel like the love and light narrative is keeping women, and I'm going to talk about women because that's my audience, that's who I am, that's who I can relate to, but it's keeping women fucking stuck. You do not have to be love and light all the time. If you are trying to be love and light all the time to fit a spiritual narrative, you're not being true to yourself. Nobody is love and light all the time. And this also keeps women stuck in these patterns of allowing other people, but particularly men, to abuse and manipulate them and the women taking on responsibility for it. If someone disrespects you, if someone treats you badly, if somebody is emotionally abusive or manipulative or just rude to you, then you have the right to say, I don't want to talk to you, or block them, or just walk away. You don't have to forgive them. You don't have to sit down and hold space for them. You don't have to do anything with them. You don't have to be in love and light. You're allowed to be angry. I don't believe that you have to forgive people. I believe that you need to forgive yourself because any emotion that you carry, you're carrying it, right? If you're angry forever, you're poisoning yourself forever. You're not poisoning the other person. the only person you're hurting is yourself. But I don't believe that you actually have to forgive people if people have harmed you. And I think that this love and light narrative is so dangerous and so toxic, and is actually just a suppression of true human emotions, which include the full spectrum of positivity and love, right through to anger and rage and shame and guilt. I'm not saying stay there, but I'm saying you certainly don't have to forgive that person and move to a place of love for them straight away at all. There's a narrative in the spiritual world that you're more evolved, more kind of softer and forgiving you are as a woman. Do I believe that life is easier if you can soften and surrender? But we all also carry rage, and to dismiss that, especially with real life events that come through, is a suppression of true self. And personally, for me, spirituality and connecting with God is about being you in your truest, most authentic form. And that includes the ugliness. That includes the dirty, the gritty, the bad emotions. It includes having uncomfortable conversations with people who have disrespected you. It includes blocking people, removing people from your life that are toxic or unhealthy. I also am just not a huge fan of these containers where it's like, come for 2 hours a week and release all your rage. Like, that's not how we work as human beings. Emotions come up in the moment to be processed, to be felt, to be moved through. You can't be like, oh, actually, I'm going to save that for Wednesday at 7 p.m. because I'm going to release it in that corner. I'm not saying that these workshops can't have benefits, because of course they can. But you can't choose when your emotions will be processed or when your trauma is going to come up. It doesn't work that way. It comes up when it comes up. And if you can equip yourself with the tools to be able to move through it there and then in the moment, and not having to save it for 6 months' time when you go on some like 3-week jungle retreat, that to me is true spirituality. I don't believe that you have to be soft all the time. I don't believe that you're more evolved the quieter and softer and more love and light twinkle twinkle that you are. For me, actually, I'm very cautious of those people, because it's like, where are the emotions going? Where are the rest of the emotions going if you're just constantly in the state of pure love? Another problem I have with New Age spirituality is just kicking back and trusting the universe and not being an active driver in your own life. I think a lot of people use this as an excuse to be totally passive. Like, you have legs, you can make moves, or like everything is a sign, or if it's meant to be, then it will just flow. That's not how life works. Sometimes things are hard for a period of time. I don't believe that you should hold on to this belief, but not everything comes easy that you want in life. Privilege is very, very real, and so is what people have been through. And everybody goes through different situations in life, and everybody gets handed different cards, and not everybody's path is going to be easy. Some people are really going to have to fight for what they want. It will eventually get to a place where things can flow and be easy. I do believe that, but it's not always going to be the way for everybody. So just trust the universe when you're in the middle of chaos and destruction and fire and heartache and grief. I just feel like it's bypassing. Like, you don't have to move to that place straight away. You don't have to move to gratitude straight away. You don't have to trust the process. If you don't allow yourself to not trust the process, if that is what's happening right now, you will get to a place of trust when you've moved through it, but you can't force it. Spirituality to me is about returning to who you are at your core, who you are, your true authentic self, whoever that looks like in the moment, right? Because it can change second to second, day to day. I feel like I'm a different version of myself hour to hour, but the fundamental core of who you are, that's true spirituality. And so going to all of these ceremonies and going to all these workshops and constantly doing the healing work can be a way to further just disconnect you from your true self. I don't believe the true healing happens at those things. It can do. There can be moments. The true healing happens moment to moment. The true clarity and the true downloads don't come from somebody activating your third eye for you, or from the Kundalini awakenings or whatever. It's with sitting with yourself. And I don't even mean like, you have to sit for like 12 hours. You don't have to go to a Vipassana, but just be with yourself, drown out the noise, disconnect from all forms of consuming, including other people's opinions. Connect with your heart, connect with your womb, connect with your pussy. Like, what do you believe? Who are you? What do you want from life? How do you feel? Without somebody telling you, without somebody trying to force an emotional release out of you. If spirituality is making you a more watered down, nicer, polite, agreeable version of yourself, it's just another form of control. It's just another form of mind matrix. The most spiritual thing you can do is take up space, express yourself fully, tell people how you feel, allow your emotions to be with yourself, form your own connection with God, the universe, source, whoever, without it having to rely on some external thing, even if that thing is a workshop or that thing is a ceremony, and be who you truly are unapologetically. That is the most spiritual thing you can do. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I really needed to get this off my chest, and I hope that it has helped you in some way. Let me know in the comments if it has. Sending you so much love.